Oftentimes, we confuse ourselves. We think what's normal is abnormal. Little do we know that what's abnormal is actually normal, especially when it comes to raising kids. When kids come to us with their different stories, the things that they can feel, the things that they can hear, the things that they can see, we don't believe in them. And that's the story we have today. A woman that from the time she was born felt different things, saw different things, heard different things, but was given a space to talk about those. Let's hear from Katharine.
Hello, Mona.
Welcome to Women of Vancouver.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
I would love for you to take it from here, like everything from your childhood to now, to your struggles, everything. Who is Katharine?
Well, this is my story that I haven't shared with very many people, but because it's all behind me now, I feel comfortable telling my story of various times in my life from early childhood that I knew I was different. And it hasn't always been easy because there were many difference of opinions about me, even from my childhood friends. Used to call me weird. And that bothered me at the time, but I grew to like that term because I was different from the normal person, as people would say. And so my earliest recollection is when I was less than a year old, and I have the memory of sitting in a walker that was homemade, and it was made of wood, and I remember that it used to hurt my legs. Now that's a pretty early age to remember things from, but it continues on to more profound things that I could see the path developing before me. When I was about 5-6 years old, I had this wonderful feeling that I needed to go to church. Although my family was not really a church-going family, I was unique in that way, and they allowed me to go. So many of my friends would invite me to come with them to a variety of churches. They were all different. But one of the things I learned and noticed at each church was the feeling when I was there of the peace and the worship and the fellowship and the like-mindedness. And so that common feeling grew for me, and I wanted more and more of it. So I believe that when you have a destiny that something is meant to be in your life, in the path that you are supposed to be on, you don't have to create that. You don't have to make it happen. It will come to you. And so it did for me as well. It all really started when I was grown. There was a friend that I met, and she did full moon celebrations in a park nearby. And I read this in the newspaper, and I just knew that that was who I had to meet, and that's where I had to be. With her relationship, she introduced me to the perfect church for me, which the spiritualist church. Now, they are also a little different than your average religious institution in the fact that they always include mediumship. And so sitting in the congregation the very first time, I really felt like I was home. And messages were given by various mediums, and sometimes I would receive one, sometimes I wouldn't. But it always gave me the knowledge that even though these people didn't know me at all, they knew things about me. And I wanted to be able to do that as well. And so with the people at the church, there was some wonderful teachers that I had and mentors. And that really moved me along that path, that I was had a purpose.
Growing up as being from your childhood, do you feel that you had that connection being a medium, or you heard things, you felt things, but nobody could understand right around you?
Yes, one of the other instances I remember is when my parents were in financial trouble, and I was about 13 years old. The knowledge that I was telling them and the guidance that I was giving them, they looked at me with astonishment, because how does a 13-year-old child know these things? Which, in all honesty, in a normal way, I didn't know these, but it was all being channeled to me from my divine source, and the guidance and information that I gave them absolutely helped them. So it was there at that time that I was noticing I'm receiving information that I have no idea where it was coming from. And I grew to realize that it was not of my physical self or my mental self. It was coming from another source. And I learned to accept that that's a part of me, and it came in various ways. So definitely the way I received these messages was not just in one way. It was a feeling, it was an insight, it was a knowing in a variety of different communications.
Wow. Yeah. So, Katharine, you always have people come to you and share their story or talk about their story, or I wouldn't say maybe so much looking for a solution, but yet some guidance for their life. What's Katharine's story? What are the struggles you went through in order to make your mark? Because I would say you have made your mark.
Thank you. The earliest struggle that I could share with you is there was a person in my family that I was sexually molested. And that went on to till the time I was about 15, 16.
Wow.
And then at that time, I met someone very special to me. And as a naive, vulnerable young girl, I did get pregnant with my first child. And in those days, traditionally, the next step is getting married, no matter what age you are. And so you make that family institution with the coming of a new baby. So the one pivotal point in my life was getting married, and that was one step forward. But the struggle that I had with that new beginning was the death of my mother on my 16th birthday. And the one thing I remember is all these beautiful bouquets coming to the house, and it was all in sympathy, but one stood out and caught my attention that was happy 16th birthday. And so that's one of the things I remember about that. So life brings situations that you are handed, you just deal with them. You find the strength from somewhere, and for me, it's always been a divine source. And so that next stage of my life, I was a new mom, I was a new wife. I was also a homemaker for my father, and we all moved into a big house together. And that went on for about 5 years. And then 5 years later, my father passed away. So the responsibilities that came to me, I found the strength, I feel, through my divine source. I would look at situations not as if I could do it, it's how I'm going to do it. And I would figure out a way. So that's kind of the next stage of my life that really brought me into the realization that I was quite capable. And not giving my power away to any person or situation that would damage my life or deter me or stop me from being successful, carrying on with my life and being happy. So that is one of the things that no matter what someone said or someone did, it would not take me off my purpose path.
So Katharine, for those that are listening, I mean, when I'm listening to you, it almost coming to that you didn't get to enjoy your childhood, did you?
No. I came from a wonderful home with wonderful parents, but things happen even in the best of families. And it's just something that life brings to you, and you deal with it, and whether you let that alter your perception of who you are and what you're capable of doing is your choice.
But I will have to say one thing though, Katharine. You may have had that little struggles there in your childhood. Like from the connection that I have and the people that I've talked to, the people that we mutually know, you're definitely giving a great gift, especially to mothers, to make some stands or listen to their children from a different perspective, open up their heart to their kids. So you may or may not have that option with you, but you do realize that you're creating that option for other parents, and especially mothers.
I'm happy to hear that.
So for those that are listening, what is the word of wisdom do you have for them?
Don't give away your power to any person or situation. You have the strength within you. You have the knowledge within you, and you can make a success of your life no matter what.
That is beautiful.
So the path that I've been on has been very rewarding in the way that I've met some wonderful people. Mona.
Thank you so much for being here, Katharine. It really has inspired me in many ways. You have inspired me in many ways already, and you know that.
I'm happy, Mona. If I do that for even one person, then I feel that my purpose is fulfilled. So, thank you.
Children, you don't know how they are changing our life. Sometimes they have very much valuable things to say to us. Don't discount that. Listen to them. They come as messengers. Do you have a story of yourself or maybe your children? The platform is waiting for you. Women of Vancouver. Katharine, you know very well, if you're with me, selfie has to be part of it. So let's capture this moment.